So, parent request for exemption. What is a parent request for exemption? Parents and guardians may request an exemption from testing based on 2 reasons: for religious reasons or for disability reasons. This is the statute that we are handed down. This is the law that we have to abide. Just some details about it. That's actually that is the statute. You want to look up the specific language that's there for you. A request for exemption must be renewed every year. This is not a new process either. Portland Public has had a process for this in the same form for many, many years. We did update the form about 3 weeks ago, and we added 2 sentences. That's it. It really is not a new form, and it's not a new process. It's just gained a lot of attention recently. And so it feels new because it's gaining attention, but it's always been there. It must be done before testing begins. We can't extract a student's results after they've taken a test. We don't have control of the information on that level. So we need to do it before the test begins, and then we can block that test that the student is exempt from testing, so we don't even test them by accident. Students who do not test due to exemption, they do count against the school participation rate. And I want to talk about participation rates for a moment. Participation rates were put into the calculations for how well a school is doing, because when we went to this standardized testing transition with No Child Left Behind, and trying to score schools based on test results, the fear was that some schools would systematically exclude the kids that wouldn't do well on the tests so that they could artificially boost their school score. That's why participation is held at that standard. The conversations we're having about participation today are very different than that original concern, right? So know that participation rates still are a part of those calculations, and in addition to the scores. And that's kind of just wanted to share with you some of the thinking behind it. And then requests for exemption, they only apply to testing, not graduation requirements, right? So that's why I kind of revisited all the different ways you can meet graduation requirements, because those don't change if you don't take this, if the student doesn't take this test. There's other options. So the process, it's pretty straightforward, and this process hasn't changed from past years. We're just being a little bit more communicative about it and kind of sharing this a little bit more widely because there's more interest. It needs to be initiated by the parent. Somebody else can't exempt your child for you. It's got to be done by the parent or guardian. We are requesting that this school designated administrator and the parent meet. That can be a phone call. It doesn't have to be face-to-face. It can be done as a group. And the purpose of that meeting, I've said this to leadership, to all of our principals, and I say it time and time again, the purpose of the meeting is so that you know what you're requesting as a parent. If you have any lingering questions, you have somebody to talk to, and we know that you're filling out the form correctly. Because I don't know about you, but I do not want to fill out a form and then have somebody come back and say, well, actually, we still need this information. It's not really good, right? So we just want to make sure that all your questions are answered if you are interested in this, and that the form is completed. And then after that, then the completed form is submitted, and then that's kind of where the parent part ends. And then schools, I just added it in here so people knew what happened to those forms. After it's submitted to the school, then the school sends a copy, actually to me, in R&E, or Research and Evaluation in the central office. And then what I do is I just go in and I block that test for those students. Because if that form is completed, I go in and I block the test. There isn't a whole bunch of weird evaluation of like, well, I don't think this reason really qualifies. As long as it's complete, we go ahead and block the test so that we don't accidentally test any students that have requested an exemption. Now do you see why it has to be done before testing starts? There's some processes that happen after that form gets turned in. And we just need the time to make sure that we get everything covered.